What does Resource Center really mean?
We're an insurance and financial services company in South Springfield, and 20 years is our anniversary next year. The company has evolved into what it is today, which was a vision of having a one-stop shop.
You hire the best of the best.
Yes, we do. Everybody here to me is family.
Our guiding principles are:
be kind,
speak honestly,
make it simple,
act fairly,
put people over profits. Simple solutions.
Good morning, everybody out there in Wildcat Nation. Thanks for joining us for Dollars and Cents again this Monday morning, February. Where'd that come from? May 10th.
Well, it feels like fall.
It kind of does. Yeah, it may feel like
When
February.
is deer hunting season? Isn't that a couple of weeks off?
I don't know.
Oh, I don't either.
I don't know.
Feels like it. I tell you, it's cold weather.
It is. It is a little chilly out there. It's 46 degrees on May 10th here. After the 80 degrees we were having. I have a little sunburn. I got mowing the yard a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's faded now, but
I got sunburned putting down landscape stuff. So I spent all day Saturday doing that.
yep, it'll happen.
Yep.
It'll happen.
But it was good weather. Now it's a little cooler.
Yep.
It'll warm up. We'll be begging for water in August.
I reckon we will.
We had a little over 2 inches of rain.
Yeah, we had a little water in our basement again.
Wow.
Yep. So,
Keep the sump pump working.
yeah, well, we've got one. It just rains too hard, too fast sometimes to keep up. But I think I'm going to build a retention pond, get some ducks, maybe put some fish in there. We have enough water. I think we can pull it off. But I'm hoping that'll keep our basement dry if we do that.
Yeah, that might work.
That's what we got going on. What do you got going on, Bruce?
Oh, I'm just, trying to stay one head away ahead of the next big wave coming,
Yep.
whatever that may be.
Right.
Might be financial stuff, could be politics. Who knows? Life's pretty different right now. So,
Well, I'm looking forward to Caitlyn Jenner becoming the Republican governor of California.
yeah, we'll see how that goes.
I think it could work. I think it's a winner.
It might actually be better than what they have.
Oh, it'd totally be better. He's very conservative.
Yeah,
You look at his policies. He's stance on immigration and all that. No, opposes the lockdown. So I think Caitlyn Jenner could be very good for California.
I don't know. I never.
Plus, it'd be really funny.
Never thought I'd be having a conversation about that.
I know, right?
I've never really thought about it enough to even.
It's like
You know.
Well, watch the news. Time to die. Guess it's time to just die.
Yeah, no kidding.
But
Hey,
before we die, we've got to retire, right?
yeah, I mean, let's talk about Roth IRAs just a little bit. I
Yeah.
mean, with all this pending tax legislation and all this talk of the future and things like that, everybody I think needs to understand we're in the lowest tax environment we'll probably be in the rest of our lives. I mean, they keep giving away money we don't have. They expect somebody to be there in the future to pay it back. Who do you think that's going to be?
Well, it'll be our kids or our retirement.
It's going to be our kids. It's going to be us. It's going to be everybody. I mean, chances are they're going to be adjusting everything, not just income tax. There's been all kinds of crazy talk in Washington about different ways to tax citizens in order to offset the deficit.
Well, somebody's got to pay for it, like you said. So they don't just print money. Well, sometimes they do.
Well, they are right now.
But that doesn't change the actual value of what they're giving away. That's the problem.
Yeah,
So
that is the problem.
Yeah, you end
So,
up paying
I
back
think-
more than what you had to put in to begin with.
Absolutely. So I think everybody right now should be buying a Roth IRA. It doesn't matter how much you put in it. Just open a Roth IRA so that you have one, so that in the future you could fund it. And if it's there, it'd be very difficult for the government to, disallow or to change that rule. There's, millions of people that have Roth IRAs.
Well, there's That's clearly the best plan that we have today. The problem is, not that it's a real problem, it just is what it is. I have very little faith that the government's going to play by its own rules when the government, when push comes to shove, because we're getting a track record where we don't like the rule, we're just going to change it. We don't like the filibuster rule, we're going to change it. We don't like a 9-person Supreme Court, we're going to change it. I think we could run into the same thing with these issues, but it doesn't matter.
Well, we will run into the same thing when it comes to finances, because that is what is driving this entire machine, is the Democrats' ability to just change the rules and control future elections just because they can right now. And now they're going to change it to where now they're going to control the revenues, they're going to control the vote, they're going to control everything. And they control the legislative bodies. So for midterms aren't till 22, November of 22. So we got to hang on till then and hope that things don't get totally crazy.
Well, it is the filibuster is the only thing that's saving us in the Senate. And like I said, they're trying to change that rule. So that's the scary thing there. You got some other stuff to show us, Bruce?
Yeah, I mean, Roth IRAs. I mean, right now, that's our best, if you wanted to call it a product or avenue for saving money. If you don't need a tax write-off, buy a Roth IRA. If you need a tax write-off, buy a traditional IRA. There you go. Now, if you're employed, contribute to a 401k. If it's offered, participate. That's where you get matching funds and things like that. We have to be, as consumers, we need to be taking advantage of everything we can, every free dollar we can get. So if you got an employer that's willing to match your contribution up to a certain amount, 3 or 4%, whatever, you need to be doing that as much as you can. And Roth IRAs, I mean, you don't get any tax credits up front, and their maximum contributions are low. They're $6,000 if you're under age 50. If you're over than 50, they're $7,000, and you got to set them up yourself. Now, they've also got income limits. So if you're single, and we can see right here, if you're under, if you're single and you make under $125,000 and you're under age 50, there's your limits. If you're between 125 and 140 in annual income, they're going to reduce the amount you can contribute to a Roth. If you're over 140,000 and single, there you go. You can't make a Roth contribution, but you need to be putting away 10% of your income. You're single, good grief. You're making good money like that. You need to be doing something. Now, if you're married, if you're under 198,000, you can make contributions between 7,000 if you're over 50, if you're under 50. If you're between 198 and 208, reduced amount. That means they're not going to let you put that much in. And if you're over 208, married, filing jointly, there's no contribution you can make to a Roth IRA. But you could do your 401ks at work. You can max those out, things like that. Now, let's say you're married, filing jointly, or you're single and you're wealthy, right? Making more than 140 grand a year, and you want a Roth IRA. Can you do it?
Yes.
Yeah, you can, and here's how you do it. You make a contribution to a traditional IRA, and then you simply just convert it to a Roth IRA. 6 of one, half does the other. You just sidestep the rule on the income limit, and you just make a contribution to your IRA, and then convert it to a Roth.
Now, this screen that we're looking at here, when we see the limits at 6,000 and 7,000 for a married couple, that's per individual or per couple?
Per individual.
So now, a married couple that's over 50 could put in
6,000 each.
Okay, over 50.
7,000.
So they could they put in a combined 14,000?
Yeah.
So
7 and 7.
Okay, so I might have to my wife might have to slide me some money to put in as my contribution because she makes way more than me, or vice versa.
Yeah, I mean, if you and your wife,
if we have a joint IRA, could we put in 14,000 and not worry about where the funds come from, or does it have to be okay?
Nope,
that was my question.
So yeah, you take advantage of all of these rules. That's probably the one thing that is probably a con to a Roth. They limit how much you can put in per year. Now, that doesn't mean you can't convert your traditional IRAs to a Roth, you can. But the thing you got to remember is you have tax liabilities as you convert. Now, if your intentions are to buy a Roth, but you make too much money, well, you buy a traditional IRA and then immediately convert it to a Roth.
Because you were going to pay the taxes on it anyway.
You're going to pay the taxes anyway, so
Right.
it doesn't matter. Now, if you've got $100,000 in a traditional IRA and you'd really like to have it in a Roth, but you make too much money, well, just convert 10 grand of it a year to a Roth. As you can absorb the additional unearned income, doesn't change your tax liability that much, then you can, finagle around a little bit and you can get some Roth money growing for yourself. I think it's just important to have as a tool. When you go into this thing called retirement, you need a lot of tools in your belt just in case you need something. You need this, you got that, hammer, screwdriver, wrenches, whatever.
Hole punches.
Yeah, you got to punch through.
Hole punches.
Guns. You
Hole
need
punches.
lots of guns.
We don't talk about guns. We don't want to get banned on Facebook, so.
Yeah, the Facebook, what are they called?
Cordless hole punches.
That's what we call them, cordless hole punches?
Cordless hole punches.
So anyway, Roth IRA, everybody ought to have one of those. They're a good tool. And, I cover a lot of these different topics. I get a lot of questions from people at the office and everybody right now, they're also wanting to know, what's going to happen to the stock market. Well, we could talk to.
It's going to go up some. It's going to go down a little.
Yeah.
Probably going to go up some again. It'll probably go down.
It may stay the same.
Could
or
stay
it may
the
go
same.
up.
Yeah.
It could go down.
It could go down.
Yeah. Now we've just accomplished, what analytical people do for their entire careers. We just figured it out right there.
We did it.
It's going to go up. It's going to go down. We don't have a crystal ball, so you can't time the market. So don't put anything in the market you're not willing to lose. There you go. Now, that's a very conservative approach, but, that's what we do. We're conservative.
Well, it's time tested. It's a time tested way that's worked for many, many people.
The answer is not all or none of anything. The answer is a good mix of a lot of different tools.
Well, it's like anything else. You know what? Every once in a while, somebody wins the lottery.
Yeah.
But the vast majority of people lose money on the lottery. And if you treat the stock market like the lottery, there are a few people that occasionally win.
Or a casino.
Right.
Yeah.
But most people that treat it that way are going to lose.
Right.
But there's a way to approach it and win, just like there's a way to approach a casino and win. There's a way to play poker and win because there's some strategy involved. And that strategy is long-term investing over time with the proper mix of investments and proper guidance from a financial expert like you.
There you go.
Hey, everybody.
That pretty much answers everything. So, yeah, you're exactly right. You need to treat it that way. I wouldn't want to be within 4 or 5 years of retirement and have every dime I have in the market right now. Just think about that volatility of that. I just think that's insane that people think this beast is going to continue, and it's not.
But if you got an extra $50 you don't need, you might as well go buy some Dogecoin and
Well,
see what happens.
There you go, or doggone it, or what's that called?
Dogecoin.
Is it Doge? I thought it was called doggone it.
Well, Dogie, I don't know. It might be because it's based on the meme with the dog, and there was a typo, and they put D-O-G-E, and so nobody knows if it's called Dogie or Doge, or I just call it Dogecoin because it makes sense to me. But it's it's going up and it's going down.
So cryptocurrency, go figure what that's all about. It's it's a created market. It's a created tool that all of a sudden has come on the scene. Everybody knows what Bitcoin is, but yet then again, nobody knows what Bitcoin is. So it's cyber currency. So everything will go that way in the future. The things I read, some of the analytical stuff, there's a whole bunch of analytical stuff you can read in the book of Revelations. But, when you look at the one world order and you look at the one world currency and you look at using cyber and using, that type of money exchange, value exchange, whatever you want to call it, it's, those things are a little bit scary to me as far as, you know, what's going to happen, who's going to control it, how's it going to be regulated, you know, how secure is your
Well, the goal of Bitcoin and all the crypto is that
Bitcoin box.
nobody can regulate it. That's the goal.
See, that's now that really is kind of a frightening thing
Yeah.
because it's unregulated.
Power to the people, man.
Woohoo! Yeah, so right here in our community, we're going to, you know, keep carrying on.
We sure are. Thanks for joining us this week for Dollars and Cents. Watch K-ROG all week. We got a lot of exciting things lining up. Be sure to visit our sponsors, the Unique Flower Farmer, the Tough Outpost, and the Apple Center parking lot, McKnight Auction Service, and sports and pickup coverage as well. Contact the Resource Center, 882-1800, for anything we talked about today or any of our other shows. Be sure you give them a call, 882-1800. The Resource Center. We'll be looking forward to seeing you then. Thanks, and join us again next week.
Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC. AE Wealth Management and the Resource Center, Inc. are not affiliated companies. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet a particular need of an individual situation. The Resource Center, Inc. is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this podcast shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein, provided by third parties, have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by the Resource Center, Inc. This podcast is a paid placement.